All right, so Joe, why don't you tell me about Jojo Rabbit and your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I really liked it a lot, a lot more than I thought I would because I read some reviews and people didn't seem overly impressed with it or
Right?
anything.
What is up with those reviews? Like,
I think part of it is like they want a harsher kind of like thing on the Nazis and like because the Nazis aren't like portrayed as overly evil as like saying glorious bastards or something like that. Like they're portrayed as mean and racist and all these kind of deals, but like there are definitely some of the characters there that you can like one in particular, two in particular,
Sam
really. That
Rockwell.
yeah, him and his gay little cohort.
Yeah, I
You
really like them.
yeah.
But here's the thing about that. I think the oh man, this might be like a controversial like little segment we're doing here. But whatever.
We're all about controversy here on the freaking new cat.
Any publicity is good publicity, I guess. I think the thought that Nazi bad is so rote and like so overused. And
Uh,
yes, Nazi is bad, but I think it's interesting when you go about it in a different light.
and that's kind of like the reason why you have it's good to use Nazis in this particular light because we as an audience growing up in America and around the world know that Nazis were ultimately evil in everything that they did in terms of like how they treated Jews and like the way that they treated their people even and their system like that's very much like the antithesis like if you were to show someone's like what not to do as a government you point at the Nazis basically, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and what that allows us to do is when we have this frame of mind, and it's very much like Jojo in this movie, when we have this frame of mind of who these people are, and we twist it, it challenges our perceptions on how people of how to look at people, and it's more about like you can't judge one person on the basis of an entire group. That's like the big theme overall in this movie
Oh
because
yeah, yeah. It goes both ways here. It goes multiple
yeah,
ways here.
because like Jojo meets what's her name? The
Um,
girl.
is it Elle? Oh no, I we got to know this because she's my favorite character in the movie.
Oh yeah, she's like one of the best.
Girl in Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah,
uh,
she's the Jew that's hiding out in
Elsa.
Jojo's house.
Elsa.
Elsa. She's the Jew that's hiding out in Jojo's house, and her mom is secretly like a sympathizer or revolutionary or rebel or whatever you want to call them.
I'll say rebel.
Yeah,
Because she loves Germany, but she does
yeah.
not like
She
the
loves Germany.
Nazi
She knows.
regime.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this. Oh my god, I'm losing like my. There's just so many thoughts flying through my mind. But the whole point of the movie is basically you can't take someone and judge them off the group of people that they're in because sometimes they don't get the whole picture of some of another angle.
It goes a step further too. I think we should be able to laugh at anything
Yeah,
as long as like the author's intent and knowledge is like we can laugh at this, but I also hope it's problematic.
yeah.
And I feel like Taika Waititi definitely did.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. I feel like being able to laugh at things like this helps us cope with it.
Because this is something you can also take into like now, and this is going to be another controversial statement coming up, where you can take like now in today's society in America, there's a lot of like political lines being drawn about liberal and like conservatives and
Yeah.
Republican Democrats. And I think the big takeaway from this movie is that you can't just look at someone and see what side they sit on and think that they are the loudest people. They are 100% just like the loudest person in the room.
Let's
Um,
also cover our asses a little bit by saying that an important part to understanding the Nazi regime is the idea of censorship and propaganda and how
yeah,
you indoctrinate these young boys into this
that's
mindset.
another big thing.
Yeah. And by indoctrinating them, they grow up thinking it's right. You don't want to be alone and you have this club that's actively available for you to join where you can be with your friends and be part of the hero, be serving the hero of your country. As far as your dad tells you the hero of the country is Hitler, and you grow up listening to that.
And it's the same with like everything.
It's
like
the same
as a
with
kid,
everything.
you're a kid. You don't know what the world is like. Like that's just you don't know what the big picture is as a child. And when you grow up, like you sometimes don't escape it, and sometimes you do. It's all depends on like how your life goes. But the point being is like sometimes people aren't given the opportunity to look through the other side, and that's like the big part.
And I think it's important. And I really like stories where villains are redeemed, or villains, everyone, like even real life villains, there is potentially a good side to them.
There's some humanity in them.
It makes me think of The Good Place, where even though you're bad today doesn't mean you have to be bad tomorrow. And
that was which was a great line in this episode.
Good fucking show. But it's a theme that's really been apparent in that show, and it's a theme that I really like vocalized, because just because they're working for this regime doesn't mean that they can't be rehabilitated to be humans or have their perceptions checked. Where Jojo, when he meets Elsa, his whole worldview is challenged, and he becomes a better person for it. And I think that's an important story to tell, how as you grow and as you mature, you can become a better person than you were yesterday.
Yeah, and even Scarlett Johansson's character, Jojo's mom, even like vocalizes it perfectly when she's sitting there talking to Elsa. It's like, I know he's a part of this thing. I know it's gripped him, but I know deep down inside he's still that little boy that just likes to laugh and play and skip rocks. I know that's in there. I just have to pull him out of it. Yeah, you know, like it's that belief that there's a nugget of humanity in everybody, and it's very telling at the end of this movie when when the Allies win, and like everyone that was a Nazi was just like, fuck, we're screwed.
Yeah, it's also very telling that they were about to potentially kill Jojo.
Yeah.
Which happened. I'm pretty sure there's actually accounts of like them just killing every Nazi, potentially even children, after the war. So it's like, it's not a black and white. And when you put a coat of humor on it, I think it's just a good take on the themes and the story here.
That scene at the end with Sam Rockwell, and like he rips the jacket off of like Jojo and like spits on him and calls him a Jew to like have him run away and sacrifice himself basically, so like he could live, because like Sam Rockwell knows he's screwed and he's gonna die, and he's part of this whole thing, but he knows he could save this kid.
Doubling back, he has enough humanity. So at first I was like, why did he show up when the Inquisitors were there? Did he follow them in? No, he went to the square, he saw Jojo's mom, and then he went to check up on him immediately to see what was up, and then he covers for Elsa, which I thought was a really humanizing moment. But we should talk about the non-Nazis for a little bit. Let's talk about Scarlett Johansson, because I thought this might have been my favorite like performance that I've ever seen her do.
Oh, same.
She stole every scene. She was so charming.
And they don't overuse her. They give her just enough.
It was perfect
to really care and to get who her character is. And like the big one that touched me was, there's a scene when they're having dinner, and I forget what the fight is. Like they're talking about his dad, Jojo's dad, and she's like, "You want to talk to your father?" And she does this whole like one man play between her and like his dad and all this other kind of stuff. And
then they dance. It was very cute.
It's such a charming moment, because it's like she is struggling to be not only a single mom, but this person that has completely different ideals to the rest of the world, and she knows that she can't actively teach her child those ideals.
In that scene, also, you get the sense that like she's having to deal with the dad being gone as well, and like she's kind of coping it within in her own way. And now she's using it to kind of portray to Jojo those kinds of emotions.
It was just so good, and just really like
another really touching scene with her is when she's kind of being like a mom to Elsa, or like a big sister. They're just kind of alone in Elsa Hole, and Yeah, it was just she was so sweet.
Another another scene that's more comedic was when just after Jojo gets blown up by himself, um, she marches down to like wherever Sam Rockwell's character is working now and just kicks him straight in the balls.
Yeah. Good character setter right there.
Yeah, and like everyone in there is just terrified of her.
How about those shoes?
Yeah.
Talk about visual language, right?
Yeah.
You make the audience focus on those shoes without even making it that obvious. So the moment where you see the shoes in the gallows, it's just like 1 second passes and the entire picture, like you can in 1 second by just seeing those shoes, you can not only know exactly what happened to her, but you can also see the portrait, like the future trajectory of this movie.
Yeah.
By knowing that she's dead, just in a snap instance, just by how well they established her visual language and her character.
It was like I remember like seeing that scene, and I was very confused about like what the fuck is happening right now with this butterfly and everything, and just because like right before then we have that whole Inquisition scene, and Jojo is just out wandering around, and he's not really you're not given really why he's out there, and then you kind of really don't even know why still, like thinking back to it, but still you're just
chilling.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, it's another day, and Jojo's just doing his thing, and then it was just a great like kind of reveal, and it's shocking, and you don't, it's like in the furthest back thing in your mind, because like after you don't see the mom character after like that whole bridge scene.
Yeah.
Basically. Actually, no, the last time you see the mom character is when she's
sneaking around.
Yeah, she's putting down those flyers.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Elsa because I really liked her. She was like spunky, and like at first I was like, this girl has so much balls for someone who has to live in an Elsa hole. But Jojo needed that kind of person to kind of snap him out of his delusions, and I thought
he needed that big sister that's there to like to it's yeah, that's someone that like can knock you back down, like is bigger than you, and is not your mom, is willing to actually pin you down and threaten your life.
And you're super attracted to her, but you're just her little brother, and you're just like, well, okay then. Your boyfriend sucks. When she was like hurt by the fact that he was saying all those mean things about her boyfriend, that was really sad.
Yeah.
The war scene at the end is really dark.
Yeah.
So it's funny, but it's dark.
It's really funny. It's also dark. I also thought when Sam Rockwell's character and his little gay buddy showed up, I thought that was Joe creating the illusion of them doing that.
No, it was real. Taika Waititi played Hitler for Buffoon, but I really liked the last scene with Hitler, where like you see the venom of this spiteful man with his head blown off.
Hitler has a pretty decent arc in this movie, which is a sentence I never thought I would say.
If you say the arc is like an inverse arc where he ends up worse,
that's what I mean. That we kind of like, it's like a downfall, especially from it's because
it's kind of perfect. It's this idealized Hitler best buddy, and as the movie goes on and Jojo's worldview is being expanded, you get to see more and more of like closer to the real villain that is Hitler.
It's great because like the whole plot of the movie is Jojo having this self-doubt about Nazism, which is absurd to us, but as a child, his whole like conflict is being a Nazi a good or bad thing?
In my opinion, totally makes sense. Of course. Like, of course this kid would be his conflict, and
And so like when we get to this part, when it gets to the part where like they're like, oh, Hitler killed himself, it really affirms to Jojo that like even Hitler knows he's doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. Or
like even
it's like, more like even Hitler, like Hitler's actually a coward. He's not this larger than life buddy.
That as well. And it was great that Taika Waititi comes in, he has like the fucking bullet coming in and out.
It's fucking great. Fuck you, Hitler.
Drop kicks him out the window.
Best use of a F-bomb in a PG-13 movie.
Oh really?
Just to wrap it up, movie was hilarious. I'm not gonna
wait. What about Tiny Nick Frost?
What?
The kid with the glasses.
Yorkie. Man, every line out of Yorkie's mouth was fucking gold.
It's a pretty bad time to be a Nazi, Jojo.
It feels like I'm invincible.
Yeah.
Yorkie was hilarious. I also really liked whenever he hugs Jojo. It's very cute.
That kid is literally Nick Frost, like as a child.
I guess
it's crazy.
so. He really is. These kids have a bright future ahead of them.
Those kids have great chemistry. Like the kid that played Jojo did a great job of switching between this very like wide-eyed boy that doesn't really know how the world works and to being this firm
wannabe Nazi. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did awesome. Yeah. Like, and he's adorable. Like,
yeah, all the actors were fantastic, and the movie was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And I think Stephen Merchant as the Gestapo head was also great.
Yeah, is he that tall usually? What the fuck?
Yeah, he's huge. He's
oh my God. You don't realize that in The Good Place because he's standing next to Ted Danson, who is also pretty tall.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone in this movie was fantastic. This movie is short. It's perfect. It's like one of my top 5 movies of this year, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, like not a single character in this movie is wasted. That's another thing too.
It's true.
No one feels like a clown. No one feels like they're just kind of thrown in there. Everyone is there for a purpose and for a reason, including what's her name? The girl from Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, was she not a clown?
Well, she was a clown, but I mean, like, you know, the point he has a point to be clown.
There.
Yeah. But anyways, Jojo Rabbit do be good.
5 out of 5, baby.
You should all go see it. We'll probably do this again if Bradley ever gets around to seeing it. Probably never.
Bradley doesn't watch. That's why we needed to do this.
Yeah.
Bradley doesn't watch movies. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.